Well, he's hours away from being executed for raping and killing a 16-year-old girl in Texas. But this Mexican citizen could be saved any minute by the U.S. Supreme Court. Why? The White House is asking the High Court for a stay. Humberto Leal Garcia, born in Mexico and brought here at the age of 2, was not told he could seek advice from the Mexican consulate upon his arrest. And that's where the controversy lies. It's Republican Texas Congressman Louie Gohmert. Congressman Gohmert, thanks for joining us today. Where do we stand on this right now?
Well, if you go back to the facts, though, there's some saying, well, gee, the consulate should have been notified. You got Senator Leahy filing a law to try to get it passed in the Senate. There's nothing comparable that I know of here in the House. You go back to the basic facts. This issue of due process, the issue of the matter of law, and the court had found, and it has not been disputed, he was in non-custodial questioning at the time the two statements were given that were used at his trial. It doesn't. I've got Article 36 here of the Vienna Accords that were being cited. It only applies if you're arrested, you're committed to prison, committed to custody pending trial, or detained. He was not in detention. It was non-custodial. All of this is a red herring. It doesn't matter. And I tell you what, Chris, if the very people that are going nuts over trying to save what everybody agrees was the man who brutally raped and murdered this 16-year-old, if they spent that much time trying to help girls and women around the world who can be raped and then stoned for committing adultery, the world would be safer for women. They're putting their passions in the wrong place here, Chris.
They did find his bite marks on her body. That is for sure. The evidence is pretty overwhelming. Now, this accord that you speak of, this Vienna Accord, this is the treaty that so many are concerned with. And it isn't just the White House. It isn't just the president.
Right.
I mean, it is judges around this country, military leaders around the world. We're talking even former President Bush is concerned about this as well. Why are so many concerned? And I mean, can you at least appreciate their fears about the safety of U.S. citizens abroad? If the perception is, and I'm not even saying that it's real
no,
reality.
I understand.
The perception that we did this person wrong.
And that's why this White House is doing American citizens severe damage. Instead of being out there saying this doesn't apply in this case, the Vienna Convention on Consular Relations does not apply. Instead, this White House is giving credence to the factually wrong in saying that, gee, this should apply, they should have known. It doesn't apply. And this White House could be helping Americans around the world by saying, look, it didn't apply. They were not in custody. It was non-custodial. The Vienna Accords do not apply here. And instead, this White House is doing more damage to Americans around the world than anybody else. So they need to back off. They need to support Texas in protecting girls and women from being raped and murdered. And to point out as a matter of law what the law says. It's custody, it's detention, and this was non-custodial. It doesn't apply, so it shouldn't hurt Americans, because when Americans are held in custody, they have a right to have their consulate notified. That's what this White House ought to be saying, instead of going on the side of a raping murderer.
Well, we will certainly stay on this case tomorrow on Your World, and maybe we'll get some more information.
Well, Chris, so you understand, I appealed the death penalty and had it reversed. I have signed death orders in cases. Due process has to be followed, but it was here.
All right, Congressman Gohmert, thank you so much for your time. That's going to wrap it up for us.